Welcome back to the SMT Media Network, talking hoops today. Game one of the Western Conference Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. We got us a game that really felt like two games. All right, when I went to sleep, I had just finished the first half of the game. I got up to watch the second half. It was like watching a very, very different game in the second half. The game was close in the first half. These teams were going back and forth. In fact, when the game started, it looked like Minnesota had the edge. And then I have to say, like, as the half went on, the Thunder really started to turn up their defensive intensity, causing turnovers. I was watching the game and I'm like, thinking to myself, Minnesota has the lead, but they were turning the ball over at a high rate. And that's obviously not sustainable in a Western Conference Finals where the teams are the best that the conference has to offer, and it came to a T, and that reared its ugly head towards the end. I mean, just look at the score to end the game, 114-88, after the Timberwolves were up, for a bulk majority of that first part of the game, and then it was close, right? It was really only I think a 4-point lead going into the second half, but the Thunder outscored the Wolves substantially in the third and then again in the fourth, right? So it really was a very, very different half as the Minnesota Timberwolves took 51 threes. It started right away. I think in the first half, I think they had 30, if I remember correctly. But they took a hell of a lot of threes. And it's not that they shot horribly, but I want you to take a look at what the Thunder were able to do instead of settling for a bunch of threes. The Thunder outscored the Minnesota Timberwolves in fast break points, 12-0. The Thunder scored 54 points in the paint, while the Timberwolves scored 20 in the paint. Right? Like, this was a completely different mindset between these two teams. And the points conceded off of turnovers. So it's not just the turnovers, right? So the Thunder had 15 of their own turnovers, and the Wolves had 19. So they're clearly the Thunder took care of the ball a little bit better. But it's the points they got off of them. 31 points off of turnovers. It's substantial. And then on the offensive glass, the edge went to the Wolves. That should have helped them. Total rebounds did go to the Thunder. Such a very unusual game, for the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have been playing really good basketball. The series against the Lakers, they beat them pretty good. They obviously, we thought they played pretty well, and they won those series pretty easily. All right. Julius Randle was really good. He continues to stay hot. In my opinion, he's been the surprise of the playoffs. 28 points, 9 of 13 shooting, 5 of 6 from 3. I don't know what maybe caused him to be so turnover prone. He did have 5 turnovers, but productivity-wise, he was very good. 2 points from Rudy Gobert, 7 points from Conley Jr., and then you got Jaden McDaniels with 7. Those guys typically play better. Even Anthony Edwards, typically you'd get a better outcome from him. 18 points, 5 of 13 shooting, 3 of 8 from 3. He did have 9 rebounds. He did have 3 assists, but 4 turnovers. Right? These guys were turning over the ball uncharacteristically. Even off the bench, you had guys turning the ball over a little bit. Naz Reid, 3 turnovers. That's not characteristically how he plays the game. Only gave you 4 points. He was 1-11 from the field, 1 of 11, and 0 of 7 from 3. Right? Not going to cut it. And Alexander Walker had 8 points. This is a game that I would say might be forgettable for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're going to probably want to move on, especially from the second half where the shooting went ice cold. Chet had 15 points for the Thunder. J-Dub 19. He showed up, 7 of 18 shooting, 4 of 4 from free throw. He was aggressive. 5 assists, 5 steals. Let that sink in. J-Dub came up with 5 steals, looking to assert himself defensively. Isaiah Hartenstein, 12 points, 6 of 8 shooting. He had 5 rebounds. Shea was excellent, 31 points, 10 of 27 shooting. 0 of 4 from 3, right? Didn't shoot it well. I kind of noticed that in the first half. I didn't see him shooting very well. But he found a way to score with the free throws. 11 of 14 from the line. 9 assists, right? So he was distributing. 5 rebounds. 3 steals. So even though they didn't have their characteristically high productivity offensive games, they were really good defensively. The Thunder put the squeeze on the Timberwolves in this game. So when I'm looking at this game and I have to make an assessment, what happened and what do we look for in game 2? The Oklahoma City Thunder defense is elite. It is a very, very good defense. It is a boa constrictor, hellacious defense. that is led by players who are willing to put it all on the line, to die for the loose balls, to cause the steals, to draw the charges. That's how they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, causing turnovers. And then they made them pay by getting out in the fast break from those turnovers. Now, what the Timberwolves are going to look to do is, number one, they've got to clean up their game. They've got to take better care of the ball. Naz Reid turning it over a few times. These guys are going to have to play a cleaner brand of basketball. And I think try to run their offense a little bit more, through a system, right? Like through their system. I think the jacking up of the threes, that's not going to do it, right? You probably don't want to take 51 threes against the Thunder because the Thunder can close out on threes. And the Thunder also still pack in the paint. They'll just quickly look to close out on the shooters, right? So I saw some things that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to look to address in Game 2 and try to steal a game in OKC and bring some momentum to their side as they go to Game 3 in Minnesota. But what do I think is the outcome for Game 2? I think more of the same. I do think the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win Game 2. I think they know they can beat the Timberwolves. They know how they want to beat the Timberwolves, making their life difficult. I think the Thunder have a good formula to win here. They know it's going to be defensively, right? They did score 114, and they didn't shoot the lights out of the gym. They shot fine. I think obviously they shot better in the second half. The first half wasn't a crazy clean first half for either team. But the second half, the Thunder, really took advantage with the defense, and I think that's going to be a continued trend the rest of the way. Anyways, tell me what you guys thought of this game. Tell me what you got going for Game 2, who you got to make the adjustments, what will those adjustments be, and then what's your take for the rest of the series? Who do you think wins this one? We haven't learned anything new, right? This is exactly what we expected, I think. Thunder, home court advantage. They won Game 1. Now we're looking forward to Game 2. Let's see what happens. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Check out some more of our videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.